right? Or the Israelites or Hamashiach's own people rejected him, man, right? So since they rejected him, he opened up salvation for other nations. That's just simply not true, right? So we're gonna hop in it, right? Video shouldn't be too long, but just for edification's sake, we're gonna bring it back out through the spirit. Let's go to the book of John. Salakia. John chapter 17 and verse number 9. It say, I pray for them, right? I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine, right? And who was given to Yahawashi, right? His elect men, right? The elect, right? Who believed on him, man, and praised his holy name, right? According to Sirach chapter 17, verse 10, right? So you had Jews, you had Israelites that believed on Mashiach, right? That's a false narrative that Christians like to use to try to say, well, he went to his own rejected him, and that opens salvation up for everybody, and it just lies and it just vanity that they come up with, man. Right? That's just simply not true, right? And it say, and all mine are thine, and thine are mine. I am glorified in them, right? And he's going to be glorified in his elect, right? Now we're gonna stay in John, the John chapter, the book of John a lot because it shows us through it, that the Jews, you have Jews that believed on Hamashiach, right? All right, so let's get the book of right, John chapter 8 and verse 31, right? John chapter 8 verse 31. Then said Yahawashi to those Jews which believed, right? So Yahawashi said to those Jews which believed, if you continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed, and ye should know the truth, and the truth shall set you free, right? So Yahawashi said to the Jews that believe, right? You had Jews, you had Israelites that believed on Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? They all just didn't reject them, man, right? And we gonna get soon, right? Who delivered Yahawashi up? We about to bring that out as soon as too, man. All right, let's get John 11 and 45. Well, John 11 and 45. It say, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahawashi did believed on him. Right? So many of the Jews believed on Yahawashi. They saw the miracles. They saw he was healing. Right? They saw the works of Hamashiach Yahawashi. And guess what? They believed on him, man. Right? It's John 2 and 23. Now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover and the feast day, many believed in his name when they saw the miracles which he did. But Yahawashi did not commit himself unto them because he knew all men, and he needed not that any should testify of man, for he knew what was in man, right? So he knew that a lot of people was going to believe simply because of what they saw and the miracles and things of the sort. But the point is, man, that they saw the works of a Mashiach Yahawashi, right? And many of the Jews did believe in him, man, right? They don't read this to you in the Christian church, right? They say, well, they rejected him. His own rejected him. Yeah, it was some Jews or some Israelites that rejected Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? Looks like you have Israelites today, right? They reject him, right, in the flesh, So we call them OT onlys, man, right? So they rejecting Christ. You got the antichrist today, right? That don't believe in Hamashiach, and mainly so Jewish people over there in Israel, they don't believe in Hamashiach, right? But we got the real Israelites, the real Jews that's professing the name of the Lord, that's professing Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? Everybody did not reject him, man. All the Jews did not reject Yahawashi, right? And it's pretty plain upon table, man. It's plain upon tables, right? Let's get the book of John, chapter 12. John chapter 12 and verse number, bear with me, 12 and verse, it's kind of windy out. Verse 42, John 12 and 42. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers, also many believed in him, but because of the Pharisees, right, they did not confess him, lest they should be put out of the synagogue, right? So you had a lot of the Jews that did believe in Hamashiach Yahushua, but for the sake of the Pharisees, right, they were scared of the Pharisees, they did not confess him, right, because they were afraid to being put out of the synagogue, right? So many of the Jews did believe, man. Many of the Jews did believe in Hamashiach Yahushua, right? That's what y'all got to understand, right? Because they were scared of the punishment that the Pharisees that they was gonna do to them. They did not confess him, man, right? So a lot of Jews did believe in Hamashiach Yahushua, right? That's a false narrative that people put out, man, right? So for an excuse, right? They're always looking at, oh, look what Israel did. Israel went off. Just because Israel went off, that does not mean salvation is open up to other nations, man. Right? Y'all always want to point out what Israel have done. Right? The whole point of Hamashiach coming down is to die for the Israelites, to die for his people. Y'all don't want to read that though. They got that John 3:16 spirit, man. And that's even going to the Israelites. All right, this is John chapter 3, verse 1. Right, there was a man of the Pharisees, right? And what do what word Pharisee is going to? Pharisees means teachers of the law, authorized teachers of the law, right? Yahawashi even said that the Pharisees was authorized teachers of the law. But their works, man, right? The way they handled themselves, the way they do things, they were hypocrites, right? They were putting Latin burdens on men, right? They wanted to sit in Moses' seat, right? They wanted you to do everything they wanted you to say. They wanted you to do everything that they say. They was making up different customs, right? They was making up traditions that had nothing to do with the laws of God, right? Yahushua said, "In the works, don't follow them because they're hypocrites." Right? It said there was a man of the Pharisees, right? Paul was a Pharisee. A man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews, right? The same came to Yahushua by night, right? And look what Nicodemus called Yahushua and said to him, "Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from Yahweh." Right? Nicodemus is a ruler over the Jews, a chief Pharisee. He said, we know that you are sent from the Most High. Right? He called him rabbi. What do rabbi mean? Rabbi means master, teacher. Right? We know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High Yahweh. For no man can do these miracles that thou does except God be with him. Except Yahweh be with him. Salakia. Right, so he knew that Nicodemus believed that Yahweh was the son of the Most High. He said, only one that was sent by the Most High can do these miracles. Salakia. Stay on B, man. Salakia. Come on, man. All right. Salakia Israel, man. These damn bees, man. Right? Right, Salakia, these damn bees. But yeah, man. He knew that Yahweh was the son of the Most High. Right? He was a chief Pharisee. Right? He was a ruler over the Jews. And you can't get around that, man. Right? Let me read that again. John chapter 3, verse 2. The same came to Yahawashi by night. and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except the Most High be with him. Right, so he attests to that. He would bear witness to it. He bear witness to the truth because Yahawashi is the truth, right? He bear witness to that. He was a ruler over the Jews. He was a chief Pharisee, right? So was Paul, right? Let's get the book of John, chapter 12. That's a lucky again, Israel, man. I had to move around, man, because these damn bees, damn beehive, you know. So bear with me, right? This is the book of John, chapter 12, verse 9. Right? It say, much people of the Jews therefore knew that he was there, and they come not for Yahawashi's sake only, but that they might see Lazarus also, whom he had raised from the dead. But the chief priests consulted that they might put Lazarus also to death. Right? And that's who delivered Yahawashi up. The chief priests, man. Right? The scribes and the chief priests and the elders of the city, man. Right? But it say, because that by reason of him, many of the Jews went away and believed on Yahushua. Right? So many of the Jews believed on Yahushua. Right? But it was because of the Pharisees' sake, right? Many of them was afraid to confess him, man. Right? They were hypocrites. Right? Let's get the book of Matthew 9 and 21, right? And we're going to get who delivered them up, man. Right? Matthew 9 and 21, right? And it reads, for he said within himself that I may but touch his garment, I shall be made whole. Right? Let's start at verse 20. And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him. Right? This woman was bleeding, right? 12 years. And touched the hem of his garment, right? When you go into that word hem, it goes into the fringes that Yahweh had on at the bottom of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be made whole. But Yahushua turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. And when Yahushua came into the ruler of the house and saw the minstrels and the people make of a noise, right? And he said unto them, give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. Right? But the point is, this woman, man, right, who was most likely an Israelite, right? She believed on Yahushua, right? She believed that the Most High through Yahushua can heal her, right? So she touched the hem of his garment, right, and she was made whole, right? So many believed on Yahushua. Many of the Jews, many of the Israelites believed on Yahushua. Right? Let's get the book of let's get who delivered them up. Right? Bear with me. Right, this is Matthew 26 and 57. And they had laid hold onto Yahushua, led him away to Cephas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace and went in and said with the servants to see their end. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death. Right? So it was the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders of the city that delivered Yahushua up. All the Jews did not deliver him up, man. Right? It was mainly of the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. Right? You had a couple of wicked Israelites. Right? That's all throughout history, right? First Maccabees 1 and 11, right? You have sellouts, man, right? So they made a covenant with the heathen, right? That's why some of the Jews, right? They said we have no we have no other king, right, but Caesar, right? So they sold out, right? It's always gonna be Jews, Israelites. Even today we have Israelites and Jews that are sellouts, man. Right? So it's literally no different. Right? We gotta start using that excuse to say, well, uh they rejected him. No, not all the Jews rejected Yahawashi. You had some Jews that did believe on him. Many of the Jews that did believe on him, right? Even Yahawashi said that salvation is of the Jews, man, in John chapter 4, verse 22, right? So it's plain upon tables, Israel. It's plain upon tables that, right? Now, did all the Jews reject Hamashiach Yahawashi? No, right? So with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi, Bashem Kakadash, Shalom.